interaction by strongly suggesting that each and every one of you begin to allow the unknown to become your best friend. Each and every one of you will begin to realize more and more individually, at different rates, that when we talk about the idea of going forward with intention to create the reality you want, yet at the same time go forward without expectation at all that that reality you envision must come into manifestation exactly as you see it, what you are doing is learning to trust the whole concept of the unknown, allowing the unknown to be a large portion of your life, to be the mechanism itself, the space itself, the dimension itself in which all that you wish to manifest can be manifested, even though it may not always be exactly as you imagined to begin with. The unknown has always been there for you to help you bring about those things that you want more easily, more effortlessly, more readily. Yet your society for thousands of years has declared the unknown as an anathema, as something to be afraid of, as something to be avoided at all costs, to spend much time planning, making sure that exactly this and exactly that will go exactly this way and that way, to plan every single detail out so that you will know every single step in all of its aspects before you are even willing to take that step. Yet now, in this day and age on your planet, the unknown is becoming more familiar to more of you as that quality that will allow you to actually arrive where you want to arrive more easily than all the planning, all the detailing that you have done in the past. As we have reminded you of the saying upon your planet that if you want to make God laugh, make a plan. For things never really go as you expect, so why keep insisting that they should? Life knows how to work. Life does work. You all are masters at allowing life to work. But now you're remembering that that's how it happens. That's how it comes about. That you let it come about. You don't have to make it come about. You let life grow. Let it occur in its natural way. Rather than thinking you have to force everything into position before anything can happen. Rather than thinking that this has to be set up just this way, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, before I can ever arrive at what I want to arrive at. But there is a natural order to things. You have heard that phrase in your language, the natural order of things. Yet few of you ever take advantage of the natural order of things. By allowing yourself of what you desire, of what you find joyful and exciting. That's all well and good. But that push is all that's necessary, just as you push a boat onto the ocean. You may have a general idea of the course you want to take, but as any of you know who are sailors, it is very rare that you can stick precisely to that course without varying a little bit here and there, without allowing for the unexpected gust of wind to come along. Be prepared to accept the unknown as the shortest route, no matter how long it takes. Because in the unknown are all the currents that bring you, really bring you, what you need, according to the idea you have set out to be. Will guide you unerringly. Even if it may seem to be taking you off course, go with the flow of your life. Accept and embrace the unknown as that which contains all the things you are not capable of imagining, yet it is your higher imagination. The unknown is your repository of all the things that your physical mind cannot imagine. Yet it is contained within you. You contain all of that. It's not outside you. That's why you have feared the unknown, because you think it is chaos. It is outside you. It represents being out of control, things beyond your control, when in fact everything that could possibly happen within the unknown is within you. It's within your dimension of the imagination, but the greater imagination, the larger you. That's all the unknown is the larger imagination repository of all possible realities, all possible ways, all possible methods that could more easily fall into place according to the vibration you have set your intention to be. Open up to the unknown, and you will simply be opening up to your larger resources of probability and imagination. It is not really unknown to you ultimately. It is merely temporarily hidden from you because of the nature of your physiological reality and the limitations imposed upon it. But it is not really unknown to you. Learn to trust its flow. Learn to trust its currents. Learn to trust the vibration of the unknown as simply a repository of surprise, to delight you, to enlighten you, to entertain you, and allow you more insight into the grand scale on which you really operate. You are never really out of control, never really out of touch. Let yourself trust that the currents of the ocean of your imagination will unerringly guide you to exactly where you need to be. And remember, you don't really go anywhere anyway. You are always right here, always right now. And all these currents that may seem to take you to faraway places and faraway experiences and unexpected surprises, all of that's going on within you. Not outside you, within you. Only appears to be going on outside you because that's the game of physical life. It's just a reflective mirror, but it's all going on within you. Those currents, therefore, are simply currents, ripples that are the result of your own interactions with yourself, with other portions of yourself as you have created yourself to be in various portions. The unknown is simply the unknown you. It's still all you. It is simply that larger portion of the total you are forgetting about. That's all the unknown is. It's always going to be you. No matter what you discover it to be, it's always going to be another variation of you. In another form, in another disguise, in other clothing, in other words, in another style, in another culture, in another way of expressing yourself. It's all you. Doing a dance, a different dance. That's all it is. So let it be your friend. It will serve you very well. Don't be afraid of the unknown. Otherwise, you're just afraid of yourself. And that's all it is. Be delighted and surprised by how much you contain. When you discover something you didn't know before, be delighted and surprised by how much, how multidimensional, how universal, how infinite is the experience of your life. That would be our suggestion for how to make the unknown your best friend. And so we thank you for allowing us to reflect this concept to you this day. From our civilization to yours, our gratitude. At this time, once again we ask, in return for the gift of allowing us to experience you, how may we serve you at this time?
Day of your time. How are you all?
Well,
we will once again thank each and every one of you, individually and collectively, for the establishment of this link on this day of your time. We would like to discuss a notion, a reflection, a perspective, and an idea that we could ostensibly label the missile of anger. The idea is that more often than not, when you find yourselves experiencing what you call anger, you will recognize if you take the time to look at it, that the concept of anger, when expressed, as we have said many times, naturally, is usually not experienced for longer than about 15 of your seconds. Longer than that, it becomes judgment. The idea, therefore, is that it can devolve into all the different forms of judgment connected to the energy of anger, such as hate. The idea, therefore, is to recognize that the original adrenaline rush that you may experience in any given situation when it is presented to you is simply the energy of alignment, the alignment of your idea of yourself, your definition of yourself, what it is you prefer to call yourself to be, as compared to the situation that is being presented to you. You determine in that original rush of aligning energy, that adrenaline rush, whether or not the circumstance is in fact aligned with your preferential energy. If it is not, you can simply recognize that fact and be on about your life. If it is, the idea is that you would generally not experience that particular kind of energetic rush. But if it is not, and you experience that rush that lets you know what is your vibration, and by comparison what is not your frequency, what is not your truth at the moment, what is not your reality, what is not your choice, there is no need, beyond that point, to continue to assess it and judge it as being invalid or anything less than the choice that you are making. It is simply a recognition, an opportunity to recognize that it is different than what it is you may prefer. Now, when you thus choose to continue to amplify the anger in a negative way, in a judgmental way, and you perhaps project and lash out at others, angrily, as you say in your language, you can recognize this is very similar to what you would call a rocket blast, a blast of flame leaping out for the purpose, for the intention of singeing and scorching that person, that situation, where you intend to direct your anger flow. But if you recognize that all things, as you know in your physics, have an action and a reaction that is equal and opposite, just as the analogy of a missile or a rocket shows you, when the fiery blast is thrust from the bottom of the rocket, it goes in one direction, yes. But the object of your attention, the rocket, the missile, goes in the opposite direction. And that is where you really need to keep your attention. For if you thus lash out, blast out in anger at someone, you can recognize that while that thrust is going outward, that is an indication of where you really need to put your attention, which is in the opposite direction, inward on yourself. For there is no reason why any of you would experience the judgmental side of anger rather than the natural 15-second anger. If it were not for the fact that there must be some definition you have about yourself that you are angry about, which perhaps another person or another situation has reflected to you, has triggered for you, but is not the cause of. And thus when you project your anger on the other individual, thinking that they are the cause of how you feel, you are thus deluding yourself into thinking that there is not already a cause within you that has been planted within you in your definitions, in your belief of usually how you see yourself, how you define yourself, how you think of yourself. So always, if you notice, if you pay attention to the fact, when you do feel angry at another, allow yourself first and foremost to recognize that regardless of what they have done, the opportunity, the positive opportunity that is there in that circumstance for you, is to find out, by redirecting that energy back toward yourself in a constructive way, why you would have reacted to what they did in the way that you did. Because there is no reason for anyone to react in any way, shape, or form on any level emotionally until and unless you already believe within you something to be true to begin with. Some definition within you must already exist about yourself that they had the ability to trigger. But again, it isn't really about them. It's about you. Even if they have intentionally done something to perpetrate the idea of negativity against you, it still doesn't matter. The idea is still look for the opportunity where you can discover what definition, what belief system structure within you was responsible for why you would even feel affected by anything that they might have said or done in a negative way. Every situation like that is a golden opportunity to get back in touch with how you define yourself and how you can change the definitions of yourself in order to become the person you truly wish to be, instead of continuing to react off of the actions of others and letting them define who it is you are, which is the original reason why you have those definitions anyway, because more often than not, they most likely came from the telepathic pickup that you got from what you would call your parents, your relatives, your friends at an early age. Sending you telepathic messages or body language messages that this is how you were supposed to behave, that this is what you were supposed to think, and this is what you were supposed to believe about yourself. Because perhaps of the way that they believed about themselves, because of the way they were taught. But you don't have to do that. This is your age upon your planet where it is time to break the chains. Time to break the link, the continuity, and not allow yourself to just assume that the way you might automatically react to something because of the way you have automatically assigned a meaning to it is necessarily the meaning that the thing has to have. The idea is for you to get in touch with what meaning you would prefer the situation to have. How you would prefer to define its effect in your life, and to trust and to know that by changing that definition, you will in fact change the effect it has. For your physical reality can only affect you according to how you define it is possible for it to do so. And that is the only power physical reality has, based solely on the meaning and the definitions that your self-empowerment and your consciousness have allowed it to maintain. We thank you for allowing us to reflect this idea, which is now one of the aspects that your collective consciousness on your planet is exploring at this time, to the individuals present in this particular link. We thank you for the gift of allowing us to experience each and every one of you. For each and every time we interact with every one of you, we are afforded an opportunity to experience that many more facets of the multidimensional crystal of the infinite. And we thank you for that gift. In return for the gift you are now allowing our civilization to experience through this conduit at this time, I ask, in what way may I be of service to you? To simply outline and reinforce, once again, the concept of intention as it must be aligned with action and married to lack of expectation. Again, very briefly, this is the triad, the mechanism for remaining in balance, for remaining in your center, for remaining in the present, for living in the now, while at the same time making yourself literally most magnetically attractive to the manifestation of reality that will be most highly reflective of joy. Intention, the idea of who and what ideal you yourself to be. Action, that you will take your intention and actualize it through physiological action, to show through that action that you are willing to be open to the attraction. It grounds the intention. It grounds the idea, locks it in your physiological reality. Your actions are the underscoring of your intention. You can intend something all day long. If you're not willing to show by your actions that you are aligned with that idea, it will remain in the realm of the etheric. And then, as we have outlined from time to time, you must go forward in these actions with a full intention that what you imagine to be true for you is true, but you must have absolutely zero expectation that it has to manifest exactly as you originally saw it. This balancing act is what allows you to remain open to the unexpected surprises and expansiveness of the infinite. For in most cases, as we have said, when you insist that the manifestation must occur exactly as you have imagined it, you are actually shortchanging yourself and not allowing the manifestation to come about in a way that might even be far more expanded than you were capable of imagining.
So allow yourself to have a healthy dose of the unexpected. Let the unknown be your friend. So that in having full intention and acting in accordance with that intention, being your true self, acting in your excitement, by having no expectation that it must come out that way, you will paradoxically be allowing it the best opportunity to come out, perhaps not only the way you did originally imagine it, in its best possible format, but you will be allowing it to come out perhaps even better than you imagined it by removing those structures of expectation and insistence that you have been taught by your society to utilize. So keep it simple. For the reality is complex, but the mechanism of its creation is simple. Intention, action, no expectation will keep you firmly in the now, in the present, which is where you need to be to receive anything that you could possibly receive anyway. If you're not in the now, if no one is home, when opportunity knocks, you can't be there to receive it. You will not see it. It will be invisible to you. So then, we thank you for allowing us to remind you of this brief description of the mechanism of manifestation. In return for the gift that you are allowing us to experience this communication with your civilization in this way at this time, in return I ask you now, in what way may we be of service to you?
Bashar.